I wanted to get some footage of me doing the actual drilling. Like I said, it's a little on the boring side, and this has taken me quite some time to do. And there's no easy way to do it, and it's going to be variable depending on what model and what you're looking to do. But on most of my chaos, I've simply hollowed the eyes out. And my Lord's going to be no different. Again, I use several different size drills and a lot of practice technique to be able to get the eyes drilled out. This one's particularly on the difficult side. This is only the second metal model that I've done this with, even though the model is only a single piece. Now, this particular model that I'm using, this head comes from the Reaper line called Jack Dodge Harrison. I picked it up because there was a nice fedora on one of the other heads that I used on some of my other models, which I may or may not display, I don't know. But I had this cool little leftover guy with a cigar in his head. So I figured a cigar smoking commander is a pretty cool idea. Definitely unique. I pride myself in my army being different than everybody else's. So I have various little miniature drills. These are made for rotary tools. I picked them up from Harbor Freight for a couple of bucks for the set. They're very fragile. I break the shit out of them, but they're very, very useful and really good at this sort of thing. So you'll see, I don't know how well you can see on the picture, but his eyes are completely hollowed out now, as well as his head cavity is completely done. So there's a big empty spot in here where it comes in, and there's a cavity in here that I'm going to try to thread my fiber optics into. A little piece of fiber optics right here. Started like that, ended up like this, and it's going to take me a little while to get the fiber optics in there. I usually put a little bit of bend in the front of it and then try to feed it in. There's no easy way to do it, especially on a metal model. It's very, very difficult. It's a lot easier on a plastic one. The more that you can get hollowed out, the better and the easier it is. But then again, you want to keep in mind, the more that you hollow out, the more likely you are to screw up the end product. So you want it to be, there's that fine line between difficulty and possibility and making it look good that you want to walk. You know, the whole idea here is that your end result is really nice and impressive, and people look at it and say, holy shit, how did you do that? For the truth of the matter is, there's no easy way to do it. It's just a matter of heaping one thing on top of another. Anyway, hopefully whenever I get back, I'll have this done. Alrighty, I didn't record it because there's no easy way of doing it. But threading the fiber optics through the little eye holes is going to be very, very difficult no matter what you do. Larger internal cavity makes it easier. Poking holes out the back makes it very difficult. It's all a matter of connecting the right paths with your drills and giving them the fiber optics a place to run. Not only that, if you're using true fiber optics, it's a plastic, but it's kind of brittle, so it breaks. It doesn't bend real easy. So you want to keep your lines as straight as possible, but it's still got to make that bend down. You know, so I still got a little bit sticking up out the top. I don't know if you can see that glowing on the camera or not, but it does pick up light very, very well. And whenever we put it into our body cavity, it should fit relatively nice. So this is going to connect, it's going to touch on top of the, LED here, and then give us a nice little glowing red effect. And that's pretty close to wired up. We just got to do some trimming to make everything fit right, which I'm not sure if I'm going to record that or not, because that's all going to be variable depending on your model and setting things up. But that's really all there is to it. Once that's glued together, we trim everything down and make it fit right and call it a day. Then it goes on to the painting phase. I actually think that I'm going to do a base coat on the head before I put it in there, because of the way it sits down in there, it's going to be hard to do that. And I might even build up a little bit of green stuff in there so the head sits up a little bit so you can see a little better on it. Yeah, I actually think I'm going to do exactly that. That'll look a little better because I don't want it to sit down on top of it. I want it to sit right about there, where you can see the neck a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and paint it. I'm going to do a base coat paint on the head. I'm not going to do my full detail, but maybe some flesh and some hair. I'll paint the flesh and the hair probably with a base coat on them, and then build up some green stuff on there to give it a base to sit on, and then merge my two pieces together, and I'll show you the results thereabout.